Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy spring. I don't know about you, but I'm always happy to see spring come around because I love summer. So when spring comes around, especially here in Michigan, it means summer is just right around the corner, warmer weather, more activities to do outside, more enjoyment. So that's just me, but happy spring, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here today. My name is Tina Patterson. I'm the principal attorney here at Patterson Justice Council in Detroit, Michigan. We're pursuing justice is our business. We help people protect their property, have their rights respected, and leave legacies to their lineage. We do this because we believe that the law should be used as a tool for construction rather than destruction. This month of March, during Women's History Month, we've been discussing key concepts that are critical to our experiences of life and why it is necessary to fight to keep these items in our favor. So last week we talked about some of the practical tools that can help to increase legal victory that is always possible to those who refuse to succumb to defeat before the battle begins. This week we'll be talking about a key asset that is often undervalued but crucial when it is under attack, and that is the home. Our main source of shelter, a necessity of life, but as we'll see, so much more than how we actually use it every single day in the present in real time. And because of this, it is definitely something worth fighting for during a legal dispute, a legal case, for any kind of legal matters. And obviously, this can include many different legal situations where the house may be at issue, including divorce, foreclosure, real estate, etc. So we can keep those differing situations in mind, but today we're going to focus on the house as it relates to estate planning because that's one of our main practice areas here. And because there really are many limiting beliefs when it comes to the home and estate planning. There are limiting beliefs there that cause us to devalue the importance of the home and what it truly represents for the future because we just think small when it comes to what it is today. We don't think about all the possibilities of what it could be tomorrow and how people of tomorrow can use that to help better their situation. So keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to estate planning, again, there's also a false perception that only the rich and famous have substantial assets to protect, only the rich and famous need an estate plan, they need a will, they need all the things, only them. And it's this kind of exclusive box we put around it. So due to this viewpoint, everyday individuals who may not consider themselves rich and famous and having a lot, they often believe that they don't have much to secure in the event of their deaths, just the house. Now, I've heard people say this to me, wanting to contact me for a consultation to do a will or some other kind of estate planning work. And they have literally said, I don't have much, just the house. And I'm thinking, like, it doesn't register when I hear it in my brain because I'm like, what do you mean just the house? Like, that's a lot. The truth is that your house is a lot, regardless of its current value and regardless of whether that is truly all you own or not. In reality, the house is often the biggest and most valuable asset in your estate. And many individuals work hard to be able to even afford to purchase a home. And then they work harder to make sure the home isn't lost. They work harder to keep the home by ensuring payments are timely made right on the mortgage, including other standard obligations like property taxes, if it's a homeowners association fee, garbage fee, whatever it is. I mean, you're always paying for it. You're working so hard. So how can you say it's not much? It's something that you don't even know that you're working so hard to do to keep up sometimes. So there's definitely something there. The perception that the house is not much limits the importance of what we have and what we can do to protect our loved ones when we're no longer here. It also limits our beliefs about the true worth of our possessions, their current and future values, and how we can maximize their use and enjoyment during our own lifetimes, while securing such an important benefit for future generations. So now that we have established that foundational level of importance and we've talked about some of those basic limiting beliefs when it comes to value, we'll dive into three specific reasons why the house is worth protection. Okay. And I think the title of this video is going to be Protecting the Stronghold. So with that in mind, the three specific reasons why the house is worth protection. First one, the house is the stronghold of the family. Second one, it's the source of wealth. Third, it has staying power. And we'll get into all of those now. So first, the home serves as the family stronghold. Now, before we even consider the economic or the financial value of the property, the family home is often the home that has been owned and passed down from generation to generation. How many of us have stories of going to grandma's house for Sunday dinner or going to auntie's house for a barbecue on the weekend, right? Or people coming over to our house for Christmas. I remember when I was a child, our house was the Christmas house. So we would literally have both sides of the family and we were all kids and just kids running from room to room in the living room, opening up gifts, all the adults around. And we had a big living room. So all the adults kind of, on the walls and circling the room, watching all the kids open the gifts. And we just had so much fun. And I cherish those memories now. It's not quite the same. The family's still big, but just the way of doing things is so much different in our time now. But, these are our home memories. These are our core memories. And that's what the home is such a key part of that, because I can still see the room, right? I can still see how it happened. I can still feel that feeling too, all these decades later. And we all have that in some way, shape, or form, this place of safety, right? So that's what the family home can represent. That's what I mean when it can be a family stronghold. It can be a place of community and fellowship in the neighborhood, a source of security and comfort, and a place to always return when times are tough. There are so many different stories out there also of young adults moving out of the house, and life isn't what they thought it was going to be cracked up to be, right out of college, and maybe they have to come home for a little while and pick themselves up to get back on their feet, right? It's always this place of safety, we can always come back to and build ourselves up from again. And I'm also thinking of just the story of the prodigal son in the Bible, who had these, he went out after the cares of the world, but he came back home, right? He came back home and he was still welcome despite all of that. So that's what the home can represent, that family stronghold, that place of safety, security, value. It's so important. It's so critical. And then when it comes to now economics, when it comes to money, often the family home is owned entirely, free of mortgage debt or other adverse interest in the property. And this is particularly important because it gives maximum flexibility for the use and enjoyment of the property, right? You don't have to worry about if the mortgage payment, are they going to foreclose on me? It's already done, right? And a lot of homes do get to that level, especially when we talk about generational homes. I can attest to my own family home. It's been in my family for 4 generations, right? And so the mortgage has been free and clear for some decades now. And I'm not the only one. I know many people have had clients like that. I do have clients now who've had homes. They're generations deep now, and they're free and clear of the mortgage. And that is such a huge asset and huge source of leverage for future generations. And we'll get into more reasons why, but I did want to point that out. That is not uncommon. We think about just the current home ownership climate and the home market, the real estate market, and how it's such a crunch. A lot of people have already been through that and they're not worried about that because they have, their own sense of security and having that much at least paid off. And that kind of freedom is irreplaceable. Okay. So the value of losing something like that is priceless. It's not something that should be lost due to carelessness or taking the importance for granted. Okay. This includes failure to plan for future generations, that it can protect and support when it comes to areas of estate planning and why it's so important. So we'll get into that now. That second key is that the house is often the greatest source of wealth. Now, of course, the economic value of owning the property cannot and should not be overlooked for 2 key reasons. First, the family home is a source of wealth that can be passed down again from generation to generation, saving the newest owners of the home the burden of a mortgage debt again, and providing them with an economic base to build upon. Not to get too technical, but if grandparents grandchildren inherit grandmother's family home, not only do they not have a mortgage to pay, but then they also have a source of wealth to build on. They have an asset that they can pull from. So we'll talk about that now. The second, that the home can be used as leverage in the owner's lifetime. So we can talk about the owner, grandmother, or the owner uh, son or granddaughter. It doesn't matter the timing. This can be used whoever owns the home and how many other generations, it doesn't matter. But the home can be used as leverage in the owner's own lifetime, such as using the home as a borrowing instrument to provide for other needs, or it's used as capital when starting a business or purchasing a second property. There's a lot of flexibility there, a lot of options there. Now, of course, wisdom is required to avoid negative consequences of misusing it or, over leveraging. But the house can be an effective economic resource to tap into when funds are otherwise unavailable. And again, that's where the economic base comes from, and why it's so important for future generations who may just be starting out and not have much in terms of capital from a job, or they're just starting a business and just getting their funds together for that. The home is a very good source of economic stability to tap into. And then the home can also be used as an income source when rooms or other spaces are rented out, which can again be leveraged to pay for ordinary expenses. It can be used to pay off the mortgage. It can be used to save for children's tuition. And, that can go on in perpetuity, however long you want that to go on and continue. So we could talk about the current value, but that kind of value, that kind of future value is really unlimited. It's only up to how long you want to keep it going. Okay. And so then the third key is staying power. Now, because land is so valuable, it is often the most complex asset to distribute upon death. Okay. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. It's very well regulated. There are protections against loss, and there are several options for ownership of the land, as well as a choice of selections for how you want to distribute it to heirs after death. Okay. And then also, actions in real property and real estate often have what's called a longer statute of limitations. Now, that means a longer time to bring lawsuits and property disputes, a longer allowance to keep the property while the dispute settles is very much flexible and not like a lot of other common and shorter timeline for other disputes. Okay. And that's because just again, the importance of that real estate. And then third, disputes around the home often provide for equitable remedies. And these are unique because it taps into the fairness of the use of the property rather than just the more rigid kind of dollars and cents terms. And again, it just brings a lot more flexibility into the equation. And there can be results there that money just can't account for. Okay, so again, very important to just think about the fairness of it all, the use and enjoyment. These are very common terms when it comes to real estate. It's not always dollars and cents and 20K here, 10K here, and very cut and dry in the law. Not always like that, because it's just such an important and valuable asset that there has to be some room for maneuvering so that everybody can, the person who has like the most kind of equity in it can get the fairest shot. Okay. And it doesn't always work that way in the law, but when it comes to real estate, and if you know how to use it to your advantage, again, using the law for construction, building up rather than destruction, is a very powerful tool. Okay. So with that said, owning your home is one of the most important and valuable quality of life decisions that you can make. Ownership of a home can span generations, providing both economic and emotional benefits to the current occupants and owners, as well as those of future generations. Because land is so valuable, it can be difficult to properly distribute, and it has protections against loss, again, that allow owners to continue to use and occupy the house in the event of any disputes. With proper planning and counsel, land and home ownership can provide multiple lifetimes of security, enjoyment, and cherished memories with those we love and those dearly departed. Okay, this is why there's no such thing as just the house when considering estate planning or any other legal situation involving the home. It is more than what we see it for today. We just have to open our eyes and our minds to greater opportunity and possibility. So with that said, I hope this information is helpful and enlightening and helps you to think further into the future, deeper than you realize, and start generating some ideas. It all starts with an idea. Okay. So if you like this video, share it with a friend, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. We are live every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you again next Wednesday, March 22nd at 1:30 p.m. Until then, take care.